In No Higher Honor, you describe a conversation that you had with President Bush before accepting his appointment as Secretary of State, which I sort of like, the idea that you negotiate with him a little bit before you accept the appointment. Let me quote you, Condi, Secretary Rice. Quote, "The one substantive issue that was on my mind was the Mideast. Mr. President, we need to get an agreement and establish a Palestinian state," you said. And the President of the United States replied, quote, "We'll get it done," close quote. Now, in the fascinating account that follows, at, to me, a surprising number of points, you write about what is, in essence, your own education. This was the first time I discovered that the Arabs believed this. This was the first time I discovered, or for example, you arrange for the 2007 Annapolis conference, and you write in No Higher Honor, after years of, quote, begging for a peace conference, the Arabs suddenly had all kinds of reservations, worries, and demands, close quote. So the first question here is, excuse me, I have to include one. You also write about a meeting that you had with Ehud Olmert, who was then the Prime Minister of Israel, who presented to you a proposal that you write about, again, in No Higher Honor. You call it remarkable and extraordinary. He's ready to offer the Palestinians 94% of the West Bank, make up for the remaining 6% with land swaps, permit them to establish a capital in East Jerusalem. And Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas refuses to entertain the offer. Well,
yeah.
So we didn't get a Palestinian state.
And I have to say, I think they wish they'd taken the offer.
Do they really?
Oh, yeah. I think
why
they wish
didn't they? What is the psychology?
The psychology.
It strikes one as sheer perversity.
Well, unfortunately, I've said to Peter, this is it seems to be one of the unluckiest processes in the world. By the time Olmert makes the offer, unfortunately, he's in political trouble. He's in legal trouble in Israel as a result of the corruption charges.
Yes.
And President Bush tried, I tried to prevail upon Abbas and the Palestinians to say, you have an Israeli prime minister on record as being willing to give you a capital in Jerusalem. You may never see that day again. I don't care if he's in trouble. Take it. I think there were actually Israelis who were telling them, you'll get a better deal if you wait until the elections are over. Remember also that we were close to an election in the United States. They may well have thought, well, we'll have a Democratic administration, maybe they'll be willing. It was sheer folly. It was a terrible mistake. Abbas himself has said
that these were highly intelligent people on the Arab side who knew what they were doing, wanted a deal, but made a series of specific miscalculations.
I think that's
right. All. It's not a kind of sheer boneheadedness or perversity.
No, it's not. Although I did say to President Abbas, who I personally like quite a bit, I said, you should have taken the deal in 48. You should have taken the deal in 67. You should have taken the deal in 2000. Now take the deal, because every time you don't take the deal, your state gets smaller. And the frustration, actually, was, yes, with the Palestinians. But the truth of the matter is we left this entire negotiating record for the Obama administration. And they decided that they didn't want to continue on that path. They wanted to start over. They wanted to insist that the Israelis have a settlement freeze. No Israeli prime minister, I don't care where he or she is on the political spectrum, can agree to a settlement freeze. And once the Americans wanted a settlement freeze, now Abbas can't be less Palestinian than the Americans, and this whole thing then goes off, and we're in worse shape now than we've been in the Israeli-Palestinian issue for maybe a couple of decades.